Okay, this is KonsoliFIN interview, and we have here the project Red's Jonas Mattsson. He's the environmental artist. So, Witcher 3, the
Yes.
third part of the Geralt story or trilogy. Can you just, in a quick way, tell us from where it begins?
Oh, the Witcher 3 story?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so at the end of Witcher 2, there's a huge war basically that breaks out in the world. The Southern Empire invades Northern Kingdoms, and the people who tried to use Geralt before, all the kings and the powerful people, they're now gone. And Geralt has embarked on a new personal story, finding his loved ones, those that he holds dear. So he doesn't give a damn about the people there. So he just wants to go and find them, and also he's looking for the Wild Hunt. It's kind of connected. So I'm not going to spoil the story.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. And the Wild Hunt, it's been over. It was in Witcher 1, in a quite big role. In Witcher 2, it was a little smaller role, but it's always been there. When you were making Witcher 1, was it always a trilogy and you wanted to do the Wild Hunt?
I think the plan has always been to bring some kind of conclusion to this story about Geralt, and this is the third and last story about Geralt.
Yeah.
So definitely we're tying this sack together now. We're bringing some characters back and stuff like that. So we really want to make everyone, the diehard fans to the newcomers, satisfied. So.
And I think you beautifully woven the whole Wild Hunt thing in there. I mean, even though the main story is a whole other thing, there's always the undercurrent Wild Hunt theme, and I kinda love that. And I'm pretty sure it's the Witcher 3 like completes it beautifully. At least I hope, and it pretty much will. But yeah, the next big thing in Witcher 3 is the open world.
Yes.
Well, this might be a bit stupid question, but what advantages there were for the open world?
Sorry, what? Say it again.
What advantage? What did you get to?
Why we did an open world?
Yeah.
Well, actually, before in The Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, it was due to technical constraints that we didn't do an open world. It's actually with The Witcher 3 that we finally have the technology, we say like that, to do an open world. So we're actually doing the game we always wanted to make. Because it makes sense as a Witcher to travel around from village to village, helping people for gold, of course. You do nothing for free.
Yes.
So it just makes sense, as a Witcher. And also, while you're doing this, you're on a little journey around, looking for your loved ones, looking for clues.
And in story-wise, because usually when you do open world game, it's kind of you break off the main story and you might forget it and then stuff like this. But was it a challenge in story-wise? I mean, to keep it together.
I can't speak much for the story team, of course, but. Like the side quests often affects the main quest. They're kind of woven a bit. So you never let go of the main storyline. You just add more information to it.
Right.
Now you can go through the main quest if you want to, but you miss out all this extra content on the side.
Right. And I gotta say, actually, one of my questions was the little mini stories, the comic strips back, and they are. And you mentioned that the village, we're talking about this presentation, which you haven't seen, but the village was burned if you came back later.
Yes.
So are all stories like that, they are like happening in the next days, or in Witcher 1 there might have been like a few weeks, a few years?
Yeah, I mean... I'm not going to spoil too much of the story, but time progresses, and you do get I've come back, I do this quest to get some kind of resolution, like something happens, and I'll leave, and I come back, and a flashback happens. You go, what happened here? Oh, you get information. Go, this is what happened.
Right.
So. You get instant information.
Okay, that's
it's kind of like the final boards we had in The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition. At the end of it, we had all this information.
Right.
Now we have them a little bit differently this time, but it's just to bring the consequences to it, really.
Right. And one more question about the open world. I actually have another, but It might be a challenge to make it a lively world. I mean, that there are some things to do, and you mentioned there are random events and so forth and so forth.
Yeah.
But it was 33 times larger.
35 times
35
larger than Witcher 2. Yes.
So that's
it's enormous. It's a huge task. It's not easy. Absolutely. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
So we filled it with like wildlife.
Yeah.
You know, you can kill them, skin them, sell their pelts. You know, that kind of grinding. You know, and you have all the random encounters, and you have the side quests that blends with the main storyline. And you have all these points of interest, like stuff that can draw you in, like ruins or house on the hills or little path, like visually interesting stuff. There will always be something to do.
Right. And the one big theme in the Witcher saga has been the Scoia'tael and humans,
Yes.
and I believe they'll come back to Witcher 3.
I don't want to spoil anything,
okay.
but it's a possibility.
Yeah, okay, might be. But could we, I mean, relating back to the open world, see like boring factions in a sense? I mean, because there's a big army coming and all this stuff. So
We will be traveling across a huge landscape, like not just the islands we saw. There's a mainland as well.
Right.
So I mean, there's different factions we're seeing, and we're traveling across. For instance, there's one called No Man's Land, which is basically a war-ravaged territory, very similar to the one people who play the first Witcher. They will definitely recognize themselves in this environment because it's blood, it's mud, and it's like curses, dangers around every corner, fog. You know, the atmosphere is really there, and it's it's a landscape that's been armies just completely destroyed it. You have, remnants and everything of this. So you have different factions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go into details, of course, of all this without spoiling it. But of course, there's different people with different culture, different goals. There might be, there probably are, without spoiling too much, colliding with each other.
Right. And yeah, we're still going back to the story section since since it's something I love. Witchers have always been heavily the themes in there have been so dark, and I mean, in my perspective, they are realistic. I mean, they
human. For being mutants, they're quite human.
Yeah, I mean the Scoia'tael are like terrorists from human side, but
freedom fighters from the other one.
Yeah,
of course,
so there's no black and white. There's basically like a whole gray area.
Evil is a point of view.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is actually some question I've asked a couple other developers as well. But have you had any issues? I mean, especially in media and especially in USA, they tend to, if you like the depiction of women, like we were shown almost hanging her.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything?
No. Because the world is an ugly place, and a lot of people, not only women but also men, are taken advantage of, being kicked on. And that's our world. It's tragic, but it's true. Now, in The Witcher, we not only have weak women, of course, we have strong women, sorcerers, women in power. So it's a matter of just being unlucky enough to be born as a lowly peasant. That's just the way of life, really. And for us to take that away would be to make it unrealistic.
Yeah, and what's most of the games, like, they are seen as they are toys for kids, to quote David Cage. Do you think games should be handling these kind of themes more often?
More like this adult
themes, yeah.
Yes, I think. Of course, I like to play sometimes with casual games, whatever on whatever platform I'm playing on.
Yeah.
But I like it when a game challenging me, and it makes me feel really bad about something when I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, that was uncomfortable. It evoked an emotion within me. Yeah.
And I believe same, and it is in Witcher 3, like we saw that you might do some like side with someone, and then the resolution is completely different than you would have thought. So, but yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. One quick question: can we talk about Cyberpunk 2077?
Depends what kind of question you have.
Well, will it be like Witcher? Well,
I can
mean-
say it will be awesome. That can I say?
Yeah.
It's a different team.
Yeah.
What they have planned. Yeah,
because
awesome stuff.
I-
I can't talk about it, but I can just
Yeah.
say I'm always happy to go over there and see what they're working on.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
it will be a RPG.
We're in an RPG studio.
Yeah,